Today I'm going to show you how you can create some Hollywood style shots using a 360 camera, an invisible selfie stick, and some very easy editing software. So I've always been interested in cinematography and especially very unique shots that you see in movies in Hollywood, which are usually created with very big, large, expensive equipment. However, I've been shooting with 360 cameras like this for a while now, and I have noticed that some of the shots that I've made have kind of been similar to some of these very cinematic shots that you find in TV shows, Hollywood movies. So I kind of set myself a challenge to see how many of these I could replicate. So in this video, we're going to go through 5 or 6 different shots that we see in Hollywood movies and try and replicate them using just a 360 camera and one of these invisible selfie sticks. So I'm going to show you an example of the type of shot I'm trying to recreate. I'm then going to show you how it was filmed, and then we're going to see how it was edited. So you'll be able to see exactly how I created these kind of shots. The first shot is the Hitchcock zoom, which I'm sure you've seen used in various different TV shows and movies. I think it's a really cool effect. It's actually quite simple to create this effect using the 360 camera that I have here, the Insta360 One R. This is how it looked when I shot with the One R. The effect is created by holding the camera with a selfie stick close to the subject's face, then moving slowly backwards for around about 10 or so steps. This effect can be created with any 360 camera. However, the Insta360 One R app in particular has an editing mode that basically creates it automatically. Simply select the face or the object that you want to create this effect for, and it will make that effect happen within about a minute or so. The second effect is called the crane shot. This is where a camera is attached to a crane and slowly moved away from the subject or slowly moved towards it, usually used at the end or the start of a movie. I think this effect actually turned out really well using a 360 camera and a very, very long extendable selfie stick. It's about 2 meters long. This is the kind of length we need to recreate this effect. The person filming should extend the selfie stick to its maximum length. Start by having the camera directly in front of the subject and then slowly move backwards while raising the selfie stick into the air. When editing this video, make sure the camera is always pointed at your face every few seconds. You'll be able to select pivot points, which basically instruct the camera where to look. Just make sure it's focused on that one subject or that one person as the camera moves backwards. Make sure you create these pivot points every few seconds, and the effect should be quite easy to replicate. Number 3 is the bullet time effect, most well known in the Matrix movies. Now this effect is only really possible using an Insta360 camera like the Insta360 One R I have right here. There is a special mode that you should shoot in. I created this effect by attaching a lanyard to the camera and literally swinging it around in the air. Now Insta360 have a special accessory called a bullet time handle, which makes this even easier to shoot. Editing is really easy. The app automatically detects when you've shot this kind of video and will automatically create the effect. You don't actually need to do anything. The next effect is called the panning shot, and here's what it looked like when I tried to recreate it. To create this effect, have someone walk around you with the camera pointing directly at you. Make sure they are walking quite close to you. Have the camera quite close at all times. I think this effect would have been better if the subject was closer to the camera. Unfortunately, we didn't quite manage it, but I think it did kind of work. In the editing process, again, just make sure those pivot points are always selected on your face every few seconds so that the camera is always focusing on that one person. The next effect is sometimes known as bird's eye tracking, and it is again something that is quite easily replicatable with a 360 camera and a very, very long selfie stick. In order to shoot this effect, all you need to do is get your selfie stick, extend it to its longest length with the camera attached, and essentially just hold it above over your head. So it will look like a drone or a satellite is following you. Once again, just select pivot points every few seconds or so to make sure that camera is always tracking you in the center of the frame. I think this is one of the more realistic and high quality effects you can recreate. I had to play around trying to copy this kind of satellite feel to it, and I think it worked pretty well. The swish pan effect would usually be created by having the cameraman quickly move the camera from one subject to another. However, using a stationary 360 camera, you can simply place it on a flat surface and create that moving effect in the editing process. For this effect, I used Premiere Pro to recreate the kind of blurriness that you get that's not easily done in an app. This is quite a simple effect, but I think it works very well to transition between different scenes without actually having to move a camera at all. The tracking shot effect is actually the easiest one to recreate with a 360 camera because essentially all it requires is stabilized footage, which is a speciality of pretty much all 360 cameras today. You can recreate a third person effect, you can recreate a lateral tracking effect. It basically looks like a camera is following you. You can create this effect on your own. It is you holding the selfie stick, you filming yourself, and you can get some really unique, good quality, fairly cinematic footage. There are plenty of ways you can create this effect. You can hold the selfie stick behind you for a third person view. You can hold it to your side just to make it look like someone is following you. You can hold it in front of you to have a face on view. So guys, that's pretty much it. That was my attempt to recreate some cinematic style shots using just a 360 camera and one of the few invisible selfie sticks available out now. As you saw, I did have a help here from my friend Shanil from Best 360. He also creates a lot of interesting videos, unique shots with this camera, so definitely check out his channel. And there are plenty of other effects that you can recreate that really wouldn't be possible with just a normal camera or would be very difficult to recreate. So obviously I'm not trying to recreate the high quality you get from these TV shows and movies productions. Obviously that's never going to happen with a relatively cheap camera. I was just trying to recreate the kind of the effect. You know, I was trying to get the similar kind of effect in a much shorter time in a much simpler way. And I think for some of these it worked pretty well, and I'm sure you could do even better than me. So let me know, what was your favorite? Do you think this was worth doing? Do you think 360 cameras can be used for these kind of cinematic effects? Certainly if you change that aspect ratio to have those black frames at the top and bottom of your video, everything looks super cinematic. Yeah. So that's it guys, let me know what you thought of that video. If you want some more tips and tricks and reviews, I'm going to be testing some new cameras soon. Check out my Instagram where I'm posting all of the shots that you saw here as well as some more over the next few weeks and explaining how I did them. So yeah, and until next time, it was a pleasure speaking to you. I hope you enjoyed this video. I will see you next time. Bye.